Hi, my name is Ray Naylor, and this is a performing songwriter. My guest today is David Falcone, and I'd like to read a quote by someone in the Soundbites review. The competence and precision of Falcone's playing suggests that, for him, this is not simply recreation, but a vocation. This is a player not afraid to push his musical limits or take chances when performing for the audience. Falcone is a talented composer who manages to write contemporary fingerstyle guitar melodies with a strong connection to the past. His polished performance only serves to enhance what he has written. And I also wanted to add that when he's not performing music, he's a professor of psychology at LaSalle University. David, how you doing?
Ray, good to see you again, always.
Yeah, thanks
always
very much for coming in. You were in an old show I did live.
Yeah. It's good to be back in the neighborhood.
I wanted to ask you first, when did you start playing guitar in terms of, the fingerstyle?
Yeah. Actually, I think I started fingerstyle. I mean, there might have been a time when I used to pick, but I don't remember. I remember one of the first books I got to play music was a Peter, Paul, and Mary book, and it had a tablature line, and that was it. Once I started using my fingers, I just never picked up a pick again. I'd be lost with a pick, and I mean that. You have no idea.
Well, I was going to ask you I was wondering if you started with like folky songs.
Yeah.
You said on your, I guess, the Reverb Nation page that it says that you're similar to like Leo Kottke.
Right.
Who else do I have here? Pierre Bensusan, John Fahey.
Yeah.
How do you think you're different?
Well, before I answer that question, can I say that I think those are influences.
Influences.
I would never compare myself. I would never, for example, say I was playing like Pierre Bensusan, but those are influences. What makes me different than those folks? Well, maybe it's that I'm a blend in some ways. Those influences all come together for me, but it's hard to find a single difference. They influence me. I can feel them. I channel them when I play, and sometimes I can almost see them smiling because I found a place. So I don't know if that answers your question, but
okay. A little later, we're going to hear instrumentals, and you're also a songwriter.
Yeah. Yes.
And I wanted to ask you, in terms of composing an instrumental or writing a song, what are the differences? Are there differences that you find between the two?
Yeah. The instrumentals find me. I'm playing, and I don't know, I might make a mistake. I might just one day decide to structure my fingering differently, but I do something and I hear it, and then I go, oh, that's good. I want to do something with this. Songwriting, on the other hand, for me, something happens. I feel something, I see something, I say something, and I want to build around that, and that doesn't happen quickly for me. Yeah, I wish I was a better songwriter in that way. I don't have a routine, a strategy. I have to wait until I bump into something real that makes me go, I need to communicate this.
I wanted to ask you, for the people from Philly that are watching this, every Friday or almost every Friday you play at the World Cafe at the free lunch.
Yes.
You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, the World Cafe, every Friday, they have free at noon downstairs, and I play upstairs after that radio broadcast, and we've come to call it the free at 1. So, and I do play every Friday. It's a great place to come if you're in town. It's a lunch crowd, so it's not a listening audience, but you know, we have a good time. We have a good time. I love that gig. It's a fun place to play. Very good, very wonderful people.
Now, everybody that knows you, maybe people that don't, one of the things that probably in their first mind is your hair and your beard.
Yeah.
Now, I found a picture on your Facebook page of when you were in college,
Right.
and I'm showing it right now.
Oh.
And I just wanted to ask you, when did when did you start with the whole non-shave,
Yeah, it's too long a story, but I'll just give you a piece of it. I was in the military, and of course I couldn't do this in the military. When I came out of the military, I guess it was in 1976, I decided I'd let my hair grow and my beard soon after, and I never turned back.
And here you are.
Here I am. Yeah, and this is me, by the way. Anyone who says, my goodness, if you could just shave that so we can see what you really look like, this is what I really look like. Just so you know, this is what I really look like. That other thing would be someone else.
Yeah, I can't even recognize you in that picture.
Yeah.
We have every show now. We're having I show a video of another performer, kind of showcase them, and this time is Craig Bighart.
Craig, yeah.
Now we're starting to have house concerts here in the fall, and Craig is going to be here in October.
Right.
So this particular song is called "If He Came Back," and it was covered by a number of people: Johnny Cash, Waylon Jennings, Chris Christopherson, Willie Nelson. And he lived in Nashville for long. He lives up here now. He lived in Nashville.
Yeah.
And anybody from Philly probably knows Tom Hampton.
Oh, yeah.
And Tom Hampton is on this. Also Michael Ronstadt plays cello in the video. Yeah. And Michael's going to be a guest here in December.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's Craig Bighart, and then we'll be back to talk a little more.
You'd have thought a king had died, the way those people cried. Instead of one mile broken and a tame, it struck those in his trade. He could have had it made if he'd only been a little sane. Yeah, they traveled far to see him, all the humble and the high. They said goodbye as if he were a friend. I saw where he is smiling on those who idolize him. Would they even recognize him if he came back again? He was born of modest means, but had outrageous dreams. They never let him rest till he fulfilled them. While he rode that train of song, his devils tagged along. The whiskey and the pills just couldn't kill him. He didn't mean to be a rebel, how the real ones never do. They're born apart from ordinary men. Now somewhere he is.
That was Craig Bighart, and if you're in the Philadelphia area and would like to come to a house concert here to see Craig, and opening for Craig is Larry Ahern. Larry is actually his manager, and Larry's great. I love his songs and his guitar playing and everything.
Yeah.
That'll be in October. I wanted to ask you, I saw Leo Kottke at Apple Farms a number of years ago.
Yeah.
And when I used to book music, I rarely, if ever, booked an instrumentalist.
Right.
Because I was just afraid people were going to zone out.
Right.
He was very funny.
Right.
And he was not boring at all.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you, is that something that you've thought about, and how do you deal with it?
Yeah. Well, I think first of all, you're right. Kottke, you think of as an instrumentalist. He does sing,
Okay.
but most of his show is around his playing. But he's hilarious.
He is.
He is, and I don't know. If I'm playing to a listening audience, I try to balance it. I probably sing more than Kottke would, and that's probably the balance. Although, I have my moments. My years of teaching have kind of given me a little spontaneity in saying what I have no idea where it's going to go, and then it takes me to some place that ends up being slightly entertaining. So it works.
Well, I would say more than that.
Yeah. All right. Well, okay. But it is true. When I first started, I was only playing instrumentals, and I had venue folks saying to me, "Look, we if you don't sing," and it must the same idea. And I will tell you, when I first started singing, it was awful. And because I had spent so much time working on instrumentals, and but a lot of time has gone by, and it's a lot of fun now.
As good as you are on the guitar, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure at times you make mistakes.
Oh yeah.
And how do you handle mistakes?
You just keep going. I can't remember who it was that said that when on the guitar, anytime you make a mistake, you're only ever a fret off. And if it's a sound in the background that kind of blends in, but my ear tells me it's not the right note, but no one would know that. You just keep going. If it's an awful sound, you just repeat it. You back up a little and do it again 2 or 3 times, and people think it's part of the song. And so you have a way to fall down and get up without looking too awful. But yeah, we make mistakes all the time. It's just part of it.
We're going to set you up for music.
Okay.
And while we're doing that, I'm going to show a video of our next guest. Her name is Becca Goyne. Pronounce her last name. Becca used to come all the time, a lot of times, to the Point when it was open, place in Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And she's plays keyboards, and she's a wonderful singer and songwriter. She hadn't played for a number of years because she was raising some kids.
Yeah.
So this is this song of Becca Goyne's is called "Fly Angel Fly."
Must have stayed too long, 'cause I thought I caught a glimpse of something I had lost. Fortune teller, spill it all. Will I find that part of him I never understood? Give me a sign. Fly, angel, fly. And I've seen daylight blinded me because it was too bright. And I wish for things that I never really wanted at all. If I'd run away, would you search the whole world through just to see my face? Nameless fate, please let me know if I should stay right to go. Oh, give me a sign, my angel flight.
Well, I think I'm going to start with an instrumental and then do a couple vocals, and the last song will be kind of a hybrid, as it were. This song is called No Exit. It's called No Exit because when I was putting it together, I couldn't really find a place to end it, but I eventually did. Anyway, this is called No Exit. That was no exit. Okay, something a little different. I won't go into it now, but there's a story about Buddha, and that story about how a young man became the Buddha inspired or influenced this next song. It's called Buddha. That goes there. I walked upon a dream last night, a road dark and dry, cold, and I came across a caisson loaded down with guns and gold. And there among the spoils of a fever-shattered fright lay a soldier, sick and broken, in the darkness of the night. I don't know if it's the suffering, the anger, the guilt, the shame, the helplessness, the emptiness, or the endless paths of pain, that I know with doubtless clarity that when I finally wake, I'll never be the same. I walked upon a dream last night, a road ancient, cracked and bruised, and I came across a wagon loaded down with painful truth. And there among the memories, in a timeless fading light, lay a soldier, old and broken, in the darkness and the night. And I don't know if it's the suffering, the anger, the guilt, the shame, the helplessness, the emptiness, or the endless paths of pain, but I know with doubtless clarity that when I finally wake, I'll never be the same. I walked upon a dream last night, a road silent, thick and still, and I came across a chariot loaded down with nothing real. And there among lost promises, in the shadow of a life, lay a soldier, dead and broken, in the darkness and the night. I don't know if it's the suffering, the anger, guilt, or shame, the helplessness, the emptiness, or the endless paths of pain, but I know with doubtless clarity that when I finally wake, I'll never be the same. I walked upon a dream last night, a road black and white and small, and I came across a TV screen loaded down with greed and war. And there among the truths and lies, in that tracer scattered sky, I saw you and me and all of us in the darkness and the night. And I don't know if it's the suffering, the anger, guilt, or shame, the the helplessness, the emptiness of the endless paths of pain, that I know with doubtless clarity that when I finally wake, I'll never be the same. I'll never be the same. That was Buddha. This next tune I'm going to play is called Robert and Paul, and it basically is a meeting between Pope Paul and Bob Dylan. Appears that there was a time in Barcelona where Bob Dylan opened for the Pope. It eventually became controversial, but I imagine the two of them together sitting on stage, and this is a conversation. Look at all these people and how they fill this place. You and me together, standing on the stage. Who would have thought would have taken us this long? They came to hear my gospel, they come to hear your song. And I wonder how they got here, and I wonder what they do, what their day-to-day is like, and what it means to you. I saw how you rose above it, and how your wisdom grew, and how they heard the words you spoke and took it all for true. Bless me, Father, for I have been such a long time past since I looked within. My choices were many, and my options were few. You could hardly blame me for the things I had to do. And I didn't have the comfort of a book that came before. Had to find my own road, I could never be that sure. And I didn't know what hit me when the masses turned my way, so I simply spoke the words I guess they wanted me to say. You understand? Look at all these people, I don't recognize the face. You and me together, God, we really fill this place. Who would have thought would have taken us this long? You and me together, they'll think something's really wrong. And I wonder how they got here, and I wonder what they do, what their day-to-day is like, what it means to you. I watched you from a distance, they wouldn't let me get too close. I saw you reach so many when you gave them back their souls. Bless me, Robert, for I have been. Every day I spend too much time within, and my choices are many, and my options are few. You can hardly blame me for the things I had to do, and I didn't have the comfort of your wide and open road. I had to find a way to do exactly what I was told. And I didn't know what to say or what I was supposed to be, so I simply spoke the words that were handed down to me. You understand? So God bless all the people, for they have been such a long time has passed till they look this way again. The choices were many, their options were few. You can hardly blame them for the things they'll have to do. And they'll find there are no right ways, and there are so many wrong. And somewhere in between they'll find the gospel and a song. And they don't know what hit them when their children turn away, and they try to call them home again, and there are no words to say. You understand? So that's Robert and Paul. And the last song I'm gonna do for you, it's in drop D tuning. It's a lullaby. It's called Lullaby for Lauren. Don't look now, there's an angel next to you. She'll be there to catch you when you fall. Don't be afraid when you're lost and alone. She'll be there to take you home. Now, there's an angel next to you. She'll be there to catch you when you fall. Don't be afraid when you're lost and alone. She'll be there to take you home. Thanks for letting me share the music.
That last slide that we saw was all different web resources for women's music. So if you're a woman and you do songs, definitely check some of those out. And I think it'll be a good resource for everybody. David, it was great hearing you again.
Yeah, well, I love sharing the music, man.
And I'm going to come down soon to the World Cafe at lunchtime.
Yeah, oh, it'll be good. It'll be great to see you there. I'll play a tune for you.
Okay. If people want to learn more about you and buy your recordings, how can they do that?
Well, there's 2 CDs, and actually a third one is so ready to happen. I just have to get around to it. But there are no material CDs available anymore. They're all sold, gone. So you can go online, CD Baby. You can get digital downloads because there again are no CDs available anymore. That's the best way to get the music. In terms of finding out where I'm playing, friend me at Facebook, David Falcone. You'll find it. And I will, generally a week or maybe a couple days before I'm playing somewhere, I put up a note saying, oh, by the way, this weekend I'm playing at such and such. But that's the way to do that. You could email me at falcone@lasalle.edu, and I'll put you on a mailing list where you might get the information a little earlier than Facebook. But any of those ways would work.
David Falcone.
Ray,
thanks, David, for coming in. It's good to have you in again.
It's good to see you, as always.
And be back in about 2 weeks with Rebecca Goyne, and we will see you then.